Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the GW Panther, Tier 7 German SPG, located on the south spawn of Mines. This one is under the command of Haivu. And, well, he's got one mark of excellence on the barrel of his Arty. And it's another 2 replay video with a common feature. I think you all know what those features are now. Game started. Well, this Arty is based on the Panther tank, but it's a D-rated Panther engine, which means it's less powerful than the standard Panther, and this thing moves a lot slower, but it does have a 15cm howitzer. Now, it's originally known as the Gorilla 1215, and first round went out. Unfortunately, just got it timed a little bit wrong, and the M41 Walker Bulldog managed to make it into the hill. Now, he stopped to try and defend against anyone coming into the hill, but that's not going to stop Haivu from getting shots on these enemy tanks. Rounds out T21. Direct hit wipes him out for 600 hit points. Now, that must have been a penetrating shot, because the alpha on this Arty is 680 and it'll penetrate 39mm of armour. So he definitely got a penetrator. Now, as you may have seen or heard on previous videos, I've pointed out that in the past you used to get a lot of penetrations on the enemy. That was a direct hit on that M41. Yes, there's a lot more penetrations in the past, and you don't see so many nowadays. That's because Wargaming silently nerfed Arty by taking away their ability to do pens. And they've been doing this consistently since the 9.18 update until now. If you fire an Arty, you're very unlikely to get a pen. You're more likely to have the shell bounce off the enemy tank without doing any damage whatsoever. Well, he's killed the M41. He's got his second kill of the game, and he's now looking for another. An SU-100 has shown up on the island. Rounds out. Nope, not that one. It's a difficult target because only the top of the SU-100 was showing. Now, as we've been pointing out, the changes that Wargaming are trying to implement in 1.13 will actually be deadly to Arty in terms of the game. It will wreck the game simply because people won't want to play Arty. And just recently, members of our group actually even suggested that what they will do is they will enter games in heavy tanks and sit at the back of the map. So if Wargaming wants to ruin our Arty game, we'll ruin the heavy game for them. We'll sit there and do nothing all game. And now the M44's worked out where this GW Panther is. Now, it's no secret that we're saying we're going to do this. If Wargaming decides they want to ruin our game and ruin our enjoyment, then we can quite happily ruin the enjoyment of other players for the same reason. And if Wargaming takes any action against any player who's not taking part or not participating in the battle, well, that will be the same as taking those people out of the game altogether. They're not going to spend any more money, but if you take somebody out of the game or you remove them from the game, then you're going to be down another player. And some servers are actually desperate at the moment for players, so much so that they've actually done competitions trying to encourage the content creators to bring in new players into the game. And, well, Klaus Kellerman won that one because he managed to get a brand new computer out of Wargaming because he brought in more. And we just saw the tracer coming out of the corner. No, I don't think you've got it on. It's a little over here. That's where he is. Okay. He's waiting for the tracer to appear again. It's sometimes better to go to overhead to spot the enemy tank because it's much easier to see where the tracer originates. And in fact, that's another thing that's coming out of this 1.13 update, because they're actually extending where the tracer will appear. No, it won't appear at the barrel of the Arty anymore. It appears a short distance away, which makes counter battery even more difficult in some senses, because it means that although you will see the tracer, you won't precisely be able to work out exactly where the enemy tank is. And so, yes, you're less likely to get a kill that way. Okay, he's trying to get a shot on that SU-100 again. And nope, didn't get it there. At least the one good thing is he is moving about, but he got seen by the AMX 1357 from the hull, and the guy's fired again, and now he's having to hide, and there's an Arty round. Yes, because he was spotted. The trouble is, if you move across that gap, you do make yourself vulnerable. Now he sees that the M12 is by the house next to the plateau. He's in grid square A5. That's where the M12 is. The M44 might be over in the corner, but the M12 is definitely in A5. And there's another Arty round. I think that was the M44. So he's going to try and take out this spotter, the AMX 1357. And that might reduce the number of hits and he can change position again. But until then, he's stuck where he is. And that M44 just fired at the AMX 1357 and, well, he's probably been spotted. Yes, he has, because he just got struck by counter battery fire. Okay, he's looking at the house because the M12, I think he's on the right side of the house, not the left side. We'll see that any second because there's bound to be a tracer. He's having a look, but I don't think he'll be that far forward. If you look at the hedge or the stone wall, you look for any breaks in the stone wall. That's normally an indicator that somebody's passed through them and that they might be in the vicinity. Well, he's taken a blind shot, didn't work, and he's pulled back into cover again. The M44 living dangerously, sitting behind the hedge and more likely to get taken out. It certainly helps it, and yes, we've got stunned again, and I think that might have been because the shell was aimed at the M44. If you come up a little bit higher, and I've done that by coming into free camera so you can actually see it, it becomes much more easy to spot. Okay, he's found the Nashorn just underneath the hill, facing off against the Challenger. Now I'd say, oh, well, the Challenger died, so let's see if we can kill that Nashorn. Yep, he's gone. Yes, you can see that M44 didn't last very long. He did get taken out. Well, he did pick too obvious a position. In fact, he's probably not a normal Arty player, because an Arty player would have recognised the bush mechanic and said, no, that's too close. You can't sit in the bush and fire because you will get spotted. And I'm pretty sure that AMX 1357 is, well, he's actually now sitting behind the rock, but I'm pretty sure he was enjoying spotting Arty and then allowing his teammates to do damage. Okay, we're going to try and lob a shell at him. Sometimes helps to go to overhead mode to calculate exactly where to put it. And he's just got stunned again. We don't know which one it was this time. But obviously the Arty are continuing to fire rounds into this area. He might want to think about moving to the right now and crossing that gap, because the enemy Arty's not looking at the moment. And he's got another kill, the Black Prince. Yeah, I'm pretty certain the M44 and the M12 are still firing in this direction. Now, you don't want to get too close to the bush, because if you do, they might spot you. That round, I think, was coming from the Lorraine 15550. Or was it the 51? It was the 51. Well, he killed the AMX 1357, so that's a nice bit of revenge on somebody who was actually supplying information to the enemy, and now he's got 5 kills. But he's down to 31 hit points, which means that he could be splash killed by the enemy. Luckily, that one was too far away, and he only got stunned, but he's continuing to fight. And there's another one. That was the M12, so the other one must have been the M44. And he really should move away, because he's now only got 5 hit points left. He needs to move over to the other side, but he's decided to stay and put a round into this SU-152. Oh, he left it a little too late there. Should have fired when the guy had the rear of the guy. But he backs up and takes the round, and now he's moving. Get the hell out of there quick. Good. Okay, so we got away, and I wouldn't be surprised if we'll see Arty rounds hit that spot again very shortly. It might take the enemy Arty a little while to work out that he's actually moved away from that position. But it's very likely he's safe now. Okay, he hasn't got a shot on the Pershing because the rock's in the way, but if he goes into the hill, we might be able to get a shot on him. He's decided not to go into the hill because he's going to engage our guys head on. The scores are even. There's still 5 left on either team, and Hugh View, Y View, I think it is, Y View. Yes, he's still got 5 kills. 1/3 of the enemy team's been taken out by him. The amusing thing is that the enemy Arty, the M40, M43, has not been firing at him. And normally that Arty would probably take him out fairly easily with Splash. But thankfully he hasn't been aiming in this direction. Now where is the Lorraine? Well, the Lorraine's moved much further away. He's actually sitting at the base of the hill next to the Sturm Hill, trying to fend off the enemy tanks. Okay, we're aiming for the IKB-90B over on the west side of the map, the South Island. He's a splash kill. Line it up, rounds out, looks good. It is! Direct hit, and he's got his top gun. Yeah, that Lorraine pilot is a very, very brave player. I really wouldn't want to go close to that cliff. I know he's trying to use his 155mm howitzer in shotgun, but it's... Oh, now he saw it. He saw it this time. Definitely saw the tracer coming from the corner like I did see it the last time. I'm pretty sure you saw it as well, coming directly out of that corner. He's right in there. Rounds out. Will he get this M44? Actually, it's... yes, he did get him. Now that's one of the ones who was firing at him, so he's got revenge for some of the damage that he's suffered. And he's now up to 1700 hit points with 7 kills. One short of getting a Radley's. That Pershing looks good. Can he get shot? No, he's not going to take it. In fact, he's actually looking elsewhere. Now, remember where the M12 was last sighted? In fact, he was over here in this area. But he's still trying to make up his mind where he's going to put the next round. Now, there is Nigel's spot. That's Nigel's spot there in that little corner. And this is what it looked like back before they did the changes. And you can see that the bush is actually quite pronounced. That allowed you to hide in it. And the M12, well, he's actually come forward. Rounds out. Oh, beautiful revenge. That's a Radley's. And he's taken out the other guy who stripped him of hit points. So he's killed both the guys who hurt him. That means he's got a duelist medal, if nothing else. Going for the Pershing. Line it up. He could do this if he can get a pen. Rounds out. Direct hit, but it's not a pen. 222, but the Pershing's taken out. And that wins the game. So the first game is a victory for Waivu. Let's have a look at the second replay. The second replay is on the Redshire map and on the South Spawn, and the name of the player is Jay1311. A lot more conventional. Okay, he's got the 21cm gun, and the reason I know that is because, oh, I say it's actually a howitzer, not a gun. 21cm howitzer, and the reason I know that's because there's no muzzle brake. If there was a muzzle brake, it would be the 17cm. Now, as I've mentioned before, the GW Tiger was built with both the 21cm and the 17cm in mind, but they also had in mind to actually put a 42cm mortar in the centre of this vehicle and fire that at the enemy, and they also considered a 30.5cm mortar. That would definitely make it the most powerful vehicle in the game, if it was in the game, because the highest caliber gun is the howitzer rather, is the 24cm T92 HMC. Batch out 12 ton, direct hit, 540, but it's a non-pen, should have been a pen. The alpha damage on this Arty is 1100 with a penetration of 53mm. That went straight into the side of a batch at 12 ton, which has got very light armour. So it should have penned him, but I suspect that the shell actually impacted on the tracks, and that's why it didn't go straight through. Now the Zeppelin area, well, the area where the Zeppelin is now, looks very different, doesn't it? Yeah. General layout of the territory is the same, but obviously it's just got that big rock in the centre, And they pop around that corner like that and Ram's out. Misses the charioteer. He was just a little too far away. Now the reload time is 40.27 seconds. So it's quite a long reload. But the effects can be quite good if you do get a direct hit on an enemy tank. The Chrysler GF, that's the version that Foch complained about bitterly before Wargaming nerfed it. Can be taken down if you can hit him in the side, and he just got a fire on his engine. Okay, we're still reloading. Lots of tanks he can hit here. I'd go for the Charioteer and the IS-2. Rounds out. Oh, he hit the Chrysler instead and took him out of the game, so he's got his first kill. Now, you don't get a whole lot of ammunition. Only 15 rounds in the entire game. So, yes, as I said, you have to make best use of them as you can to get the kills. No premium ammo either, and he's not using premium consumables. Arty players tend to use premium consumables a lot more than standard players, mainly because they recognise that it does increase the reload time, or decrease the reload time, increase the efficiency, makes it more accurate and much more fun. You can generate enough credits back to compensate for the fact that you're having to pay out for the premium consumable. In fact, most Arty players buy premium consumables when they're cheap. Oh, he killed the Charioteer! He got a direct hit on the Charioteer and it suddenly appeared a split second later as a wreck. So that must be a pen shot. Batchat's pulling back and he's going around the other side. No, he's decided to turn around. He's just going to sit on the corner there. You can see it was just as difficult to try and get shells into the enemy tanks way back when it was pre-HD than it is now. But the problem he's got is that he doesn't want to shoot, because it might actually damage his own teammates. So he laid the shell to the right of the IS-2 to avoid splashing the VK in the process. But he has damaged the VK, unfortunately, and that means he will be paying a fine at the end of the game. All that Batchat's come around the corner to put a round up the rear of the Oni, and there's nothing we can do. Really need our teammates to put a round into that Batchat, take him out. Unfortunately, we've lost the Oni. But there's two tanks up there, both IS-2s, who are one-shots. And so he might be able to take both of those out if he can lay a shell between them and get a bombardier. The only tank we've got defending against the Zeppelin area now is a Lerva, and the Batchat is just doing a quick scouting run for his teammates. There he is. We're waiting for that IS-2 to appear, or the pair of them. They are in platoon. Here they are. Oh, it's the Emil first. Rounds out. Kill shot. That's kill number 3. 9 rounds left. We're 2 down on the enemy at the moment. And it's proceeding quite a fast pace as well. You can see he hasn't relocated all game, but it's a bit difficult to do so with the Batchat there. And that's another problem that's going to come across because of the 1.13 changes, because Arty will have to keep relocating to avoid being detected from the tracer or from the sound detection. And if they do relocate, they're going to get spotted by a light tank and taken out fairly quickly. And that's what Wargaming wants. They want to get rid of Arty quickly. That's why they brought the wheeled vehicles into the game, to dispose of Arty quickly and turn the game into a fast-paced game like Super Mario Kart. And all they've done instead is ruin the game, and they're just going to make it worse by these changes to Arty. Rounds out the Chini, and it's direct hit and a pen. So he penned him for 864. How do I know that's a pen? Because half of 1100 would be 550, and the if it was a non-pen, then it'd be 25% up plus or minus on 550, and that was more than 25% up. I think it was at least more. So I'm pretty sure that that Chi-Ri was penned. Because he's 864 and 550 plus a quarter of that wouldn't reach 864. The IS-2 is pulled back and our Lerva's now going north of the Zeppelin area. Looks like one of the ISs has stayed behind. Okay, we've got a T-54 coming in towards the cap and he's hugging the baseline. And I suspect he's on an Arty kill mission. Rounds out. Well, it tagged him. And there's another shot from the M12. He's down to 75 hit points, which makes him an easy kill for Striv. And that's what happens. Okay, we've got the long reload. Unfortunately, the IS-2 managed to kill the Lerva. Or actually, no, sorry, it wasn't the IS-2. It was a GW Panther on the enemy team got him. So he was holding up the Lerva and it's spotting for his GW. So we're only one tank down on the enemy at the moment. They've got two heavies though, the IS-2s, but they're very low on hit points. I kind of suspect that our team is actually doing better on hit points than the enemy. Plus, of course, Jay's got 4 kills at the moment. And here comes the IS-2s. Low on hit points, as I said. Rounds out. That's a kill. He didn't stay around to see the kill, but I think he was fairly certain that that IS-2 was going to expire. The shell only had to land somewhere near him. The Wizzy 120 over to the left is 7 hit points, so he's another splash kill, and he's finally seen it. Yeah, I spotted it quite early on, and I thought, that's going to make a nice juicy meal. This could be for the Top Gun if he can get it loaded in time. Pull back the aim, set him up, work out where he's going, line him up, and rounds out. Oh! It didn't land particularly near him, but it did kill him. It was in the splash zone, and he's now got his Top Gun. There's 3 enemies left, but there's only 2 Arty left on the team. Will they be able to pull it off? The M12 has lost some hit points, but here comes the IS-2. We're not loaded, and there goes the M12. So we're now facing 3 opponents, and he's got 5 shells, but he should be able to take out the IS-2 with 1 shot, and he doesn't appear to know where we are. He will know any second. Rounds out. Dead. He's gone. Now he'll have to move because the IS-2 might have seen him. There was 2 trees between him and the enemy, but he can't stick around in that spot. And that's the reason why. Yes, you see both parties on the enemy team. Both tried to kill him. He lost one of his loaders, but he's put them back in. He's lost half his hit points, but he's still in the game. And he still has a very big gun, the 21cm. Now the GW Tigers, many people, many tank drivers think that the GW is actually based on the Tiger 1. It's actually based on the Tiger 2. The reason being that when they started the development project in 1942, they were already well into the design of the Tiger 2, although they hadn't completed it. And although they started work on the Arty based on the Tiger 1 hull, they switched over to the Tiger 2 when they realised that it was already basically ready, or nearly ready. Okay, well, we can see the batch out 155.55, and he's out of the game. Now, he did spot us, and there's the round from the enemy Arty, the GW, who missed us. So it's now just 1 facing, and he's got his Radleys. So if he can kill the GW, he'll get 9 kills and win the game. I think he sold a dummy there to the GW because he knocked the wall over, then changed course immediately afterwards. The GW might think he's going over to the east side of the map when in fact he's actually heading north. The idea is not to knock anything over because Arty of course does know by looking at the map they can see destruction happening. Now that GW might be on the move, or he might be staying static in that copse at the back of the cap area. Okay, will the Sixth Sense go off? We're headed for the cap. Not so sure that's a smart move, but that's what he's going to do. So we will know where the shot comes from. And, oh well, this is interesting, because the GW went down the other end of the map, and he's in our cap whilst we're in his. And we got into his cap before he did ours. And there's a big enough difference there, I think, that they can win. So he's now going to fire rounds. Just demolish that barn. He should change position now, because the GW might have spotted that tracer. No, he didn't. He actually fired at the same spot at the building. So he's changing position again. He's going to have another go. I think he can win. I think there's a big enough difference there that he can do it. That's it. Go for the dip. He's going to aim behind the roof. Oh, we saw the tracer. He's definitely behind that bush. Rounds out. Oh, we got him! He killed the GW Panther and wins the game. So he doesn't need to cap out. He's done it. 9 kills and a victory. Let's have a look at end of battle stats for both games. And here's the end of battle results for the first game for Hawaii Vu in the GW Panther. He got an ace tanker in that game. He got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 24 in total. That's a large amount. As well as a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him. And of course, in both cases, it was the M12, the M44, and he also took down the AMX 1357. Because you remember, he also did some damage to Highview during that game. He got an epic medal. He got the Radley Waters medal for taking out at least 8 enemy vehicles. He did get 8 exactly. And on top of that, he got the Nathan's medal because he took out all the enemy light tanks during that battle. The AMX 1357, the T21 and the M41 Walker Bulldog. When he also managed to get a Starks medal because he got at least 2 kills, took out took 2 shots from the enemy, at least 2 shots. Suffered at least loss of 2/3 of his hit points. In fact, he lost virtually all of his hit points. He had minimal hit points at the end of the game. I think it was only 5, wasn't it? And he also survived the battle. Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills, sorry, and also a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game overall. So let's have a look at team score and see where he came. Highest damage, 2,765 hit points. The next high scorer was that M43, who got 1,804 hit points in the game. And the high score after that was the Sturmill with 1,610. When it came to kills, he had the highest number of those with 8. 3 kills went to the Lorraine 15551. And some of those kills actually, when he was actually in a position right up close to the hill edge. And then we've got 2 kills for the Sturmill, the Pershing, the M40, M43 and the AMX 1357. When it came to base XP, yes, he's got it again, so he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,185 base experience points, 831 went to the Sturmill and 670 went to the Lorraine 15551. He fired 19 rounds in that game, got 11 direct hits and 11 penetrations on the enemy, 4 splash. Damage of 2,765 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He received 2 hits. Both of those actually came from the AMX 1357 GF. One was pen, one was a non-pen. I think that one hit the tracks. And he also received 8 hits by way of splash damage from the M44 and the M12. 11 enemy vehicles were damaged, 8 were killed, and he did 331 hit points of stun assist off 7 stuns. I think what I'd like to draw your attention to, though, is 11 direct hits, 11 penetrations. Isn't that unusual? Nowadays, you might get 11 hits, but you'll get no penetrations. And this just proves what I'm saying. Wargaming have been silently nerfing Arty, making it more difficult for us to pen enemy tanks. And in doing so, actually reduce the amount of damage we can earn. Because, of course, if we get a penning shot, then it's going to be a roll based on the full value. not on the non-penetration value. He earned 41,928 credits, and after repair and ammunition, resupply and consumables, took away a profit of 5,652 credits. If you've actually been playing free to play, you would have made a loss on that game. 1,778 XP, same again from personal missions payout, took away 3,556 experience points altogether. So a very good game, considering who I view was almost out of health at the end of the game. For most of the end of the game, only had 5 hit points, but he still kept plugging away. And he did the right things. He moved over to the right side after he was kept on getting hit on the left-hand side of that corner. And it worked. It stopped the attacks on him. And in fact, then he was able to get the kills on the guys who were attacking him all the time. Let's have a look at the second battle. Well, that was the GW Tiger and Jay1311 on the Redshire map. He also got an ace tanker in that game, not surprising. A bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 26. He got an arsonist. He set light to one of the enemy tanks, and I'm pretty certain that was the charioteer that he actually set light to. It doesn't say how he destroyed it, but I'm pretty certain, because the charioteer was hit and then appeared a few seconds later, or a split second later. So I think he set fire to the guy and he burned up. He also got a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him. And he got a Radley Walters medal for getting at least 8 kills. He ended up with 9, just 1 short of getting a Pulse medal, but there was nobody left he could kill. He killed both of the enemy Arty in this game. He got a counter battery fire medal for killing the GW Panther and the Bachatilion 155-55. I think it was the 155-55. Yes, it was. And that was a fantastic shot there on the GW. I'm glad he spotted the Tracer, because it did make that counter battery all that more satisfying, because he hit the enemy in the cap area. Even if he just stunned him or damaged him, then he still would have been able to win the game with the difference. And on top of that, he got a top gun for getting at least 6 kills, but no high caliber. Let's have a look at the team score, and I think we'll find out why. Well, the highest damage in the game actually went to the Wizzy 1201 GFT that he killed. He got 5,194 hit points and picked up the high caliber in that game. And he also got a tanker sniper. So he was actually doing very, very well. And good job that he took that guy out, because War Daddy, as he is there, was headed in his direction at the time he was killed. 3,709 hit points went to Jay. And the next highest damage was the Bachatilion 155-55 with 2,296. When it came to kills, it was Jay again. With 9 kills, he's managed to get the highest number. The next highest number was the Striv, the T-54, the Wizzy 1201 GFT, and both IS-2s and their GW Panther all got 2 kills apiece. So these were the guys who were actually doing most of the damage in the game. They killed 10 of the enemy in the game. Only 4 other players managed to get kills in the game as well on their team. But these guys were doing most of the damage. But it's still Jay who's at the top. And when it came to base XP, he's got that one as well with 1,199 base experience points. 1,000 went to the Oni, and then 902 went to the Striv S1. Jay fired 14 rounds in his game, so he had 1 round left at the end of the game, just 1 round, but I don't think he would have been able to load it in time, even if he'd missed the GW at the other end of the map. 7 direct hits, 7 penetrations, proves what I said again. If you cannot get penetrations nowadays very easily. In fact, it's very rare to get a penetration, but we were getting them a lot back in the 9.2 update, way back in 2017. It shows that Wargaming have been silently nerfing the ability of Arty to penetrate enemy tanks, even when you get a direct hit. Because back then, if you got a direct hit, you'd probably pen, because you were hitting top armor of the enemy tank. Now, you can't. In fact, if they carry out the changes, it's going to make it even more difficult to pen, even if you've got the armor piercing round with the high penetration values, simply because they're not giving you enough hit points to actually, from those armor piercing, to actually do the damage which could take out the enemy tank. They really must increase those AP damage values to make the alpha something similar to what the tanks earn, because after all, it's a higher caliber shell in many cases, actually hitting enemy tanks on their softest armor and with similar velocity. Because remember, they're saying that the armor piercing rounds from Arty will be going a very flat trajectory, but they still be arcing through the sky and coming down on the enemy, but they will be a much higher velocity than the standard HE rounds. 3,709 hit points of damage, of which 2,999 were at more than 300 meters. So you can see the difference there, I think, is not only that Wizzy120 who came very close, but also the IS-2 and also that Batchat 155-55 were all within 300 meters. He received 2 hits by way of splash from the enemy Arty. They both tried to kill him. 1 enemy vehicle was spotted. That was the Batchat 155-55. 11 enemy vehicles were damaged. 9 were killed. And 401 hit points of stun assist off 6 stuns. And at the end of the game, he actually managed to get 74 capture points and 63 defense points when he reset the cap and killed the GW. On a free-to-play account, he earned 31,309 credits, but he did damage the Oni, and so he lost 610 credits for that. So 30,699 altogether, and after resupply of ammunition, even though he was using standard rounds, I'm afraid he did end up with a loss of 9,259 credits for the game. 1,199 base XP times 2 for the first victory, took away 2,398 experience points altogether, but the best thing is he won for his team, and that's not really going to happen much in the future, because even if all the enemy tanks kill each other off, it's very unlikely that Arty will be able to win the game for their team. And so, yes, I'm afraid from now on, if they make the changes in 1.13, I'm afraid it's going to be absolute ruinous for the team, because I don't think Arty will be able to, as effective as it is right now. We won't be able to win the game for our teammates. And in fact, many Arty players won't be inclined to actually win for their teammates, because they'll say, well, F you, Wargaming, if you're going to do this to us and destroy our game and destroy our enjoyment, well, we're just going to ruin everyone else's enjoyment out of it as well. But very well played by both Jay1311 and Huivu. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but great games, lots of medals, really worthwhile watching. And if you did enjoy those replays, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.